Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to do part 2 of off angles. If you remember a while back we did another video on off angles and I showed you how to do them with paper tape and using a Covey knife. A Covey knife is that rubber disc or that rubber paddle almost, and it gives it a rounded edge instead of a square hard edge. If you don't remember, you didn't watch the video on what an off angle is. An off angle is anything that's not a 90-degree angle. So behind us in the corners, you have 90-degree angles. I believe it's 90 degrees. So an off angle is something that's going to be at a 45, a 22, 22 and a half, anything that's not considered like a corner, and it's going to be spread out more, right? So it's going to be, that's a good way to look at it. It's going to be fanned out more, okay? And so sometimes you're going to have a rounded inside, or you'll have a straight edge inside. And so today that's what I want to focus on, is the second way to do off angles. So I'm gonna put you guys down, sorry. Okay, so we have 3 products over here. Actually there's 4 products. And these are different than the paper tape because the paper tape, as you saw, is just a regular tape. I don't have any on hand. Okay, so this is your regular paper tape, right? It's just regular tape that we put on the joints. It has your crease here and a crease back here to go in those corners, okay? But there's nothing to it, it's very flexible, okay? So when you're gonna do an off angle and you want it to have more of a rigidity, that's a word, you want it to be more rigid, you want it to have more of a straight line, you're gonna use one of these products. Now the difference with these products is inside, they'll have either a metal, a composite, a plastic, some kind of an insert that will allow for that rigidness, okay? So obviously this is the regular paper, it's just gonna flop around. This one you can't do that with, right? So if you saw in another video also, I use this one for corner bead when I'm in an emergency. I'll fold it like that, and that gives me for corner bead. But if you're gonna do for the off angle, you're gonna fold it the other way, okay? So this way would be for corner bead, that way would be for your off angle, and you're gonna put in your off angle, okay? Now the other 2 are technically the same thing. It's the paper, but on the back, these have a composite, I guess, like a cardboard to it. And it still bends, but you see it gives you that straight edge, both of these, see? Now obviously this one's a 2 1/16 inch, and this is, I believe, a 3 inch. I would recommend going with this one just because you know you're gonna have more play with it. So these are that. And then this one is actually the exact same thing as this one, which is the smaller one. And on this one, it says you can actually put it into a bazooka or a banjo and use it for mudding, for doing your joints and things like that. So if I get enough off angles on a job, I think I'm gonna try to use this one because I would like to see how that works. So what you are gonna need to do is when you get these out, because of the thickness, you can't just rip it like paper. So you'll need to have a pair of snips. So you'll snip it and you'll cut it, and it's not hard. I mean, it's, you know, just cutting your, I'm left-handed, sorry, hold on. So it's just snipping off however much you need, right? So you will need a pair of snips, okay? So this is my mock-up. It's kind of at a 45, the best I can make it. So I'm gonna fold it out. I'm gonna fold it that way, okay? So I folded it on the inside. I'm folding the inside out, okay? Just give it a dry run to see if it fits. Now there's 2 ways that you're gonna adhere it. You can either use M377 adhesive spray, which is a spray, or you can use hot mud. Now I already went ahead and mixed up some hot mud. I have another video on that if you need to learn how to mix it up. But this is 20 minute. So you're not gonna use staples. You're not gonna use, you know, you're not gonna use, it's either gonna be the 3M77 or it's gonna be hot mud, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna just go ahead and butter it up. Obviously this is a mock-up, so it's not attached to anything. You're gonna butter up the other side. And we're gonna see these a lot around your ceilings. You're gonna see them when they go up the wall, and then maybe it's gonna make a turn, or it's gonna be like you're gonna have a small wall to a big wall, and they make these turns. I don't really know why they use them so much. I don't know if it actually saves space or saves material or not. But in any event, so you're gonna butter it up both sides. Try not to lose my board here. Okay. Now, like I said, you're gonna fold it, and you're gonna try to keep a straight line as straight as possible. I mean, I guess you can chalk line it or use a laser, but you're just gonna try to keep it as straight as possible. Then you're just gonna wipe. My pressure is going to the inside of it, but I'm pushing at an angle and I'm pushing down and out. Okay, down and out. Now, if I'm going up, I'm pushing, my pressure's on the inside. I'm still going at an angle, but I'm making sure I'm pushing that mud out. Okay? So same thing, my pressure's coming here, and I'm forcing that mud out. Okay? Now same thing on the other side. The pressure is going to be on the inside of it's going to be on the inside, and I'm going to be pushing out again, okay? See, I feel like I have a little bit of a blister, which means there's not a lot of mud back there, so I'm going to peel that back a little bit. And add more mud. Okay, now on this one, because you have the tape right here, the extra tape, I'm not going to mesh the edges. I'm not going to put more tape on the edges because you already have your tape right here. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to coat each side. I'm actually not going to go all the way into it. I'm going to stay outside, maybe about a ½ inch outside of that angle. And I'm using a 4 or 5 inch right now. Okay, so I was out probably like a 1. I'm going to feather my edge. I'm going to cut my inside. And then I'm just going to go at another 1. I'm going to clean up the goobers. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I was at a 1. Then I'm going to feather my edge by putting the pressure on the outside of this knife. I'm putting the pressure on the outside of the knife, going straight up. And then I'm just gonna go kind of at an angle out. My hot mud's already drying on me. But something like that. Let me see if I can turn this camera around. Okay, so this one gives you more of a square in that corner than the coving knife that rounds it off. And you're gonna go in here later and sand that down in the middle. But that's basically it. You're gonna do 2 coats. The next coat you're gonna overlap with the bigger knife. So if you use the 5 or a 6, I would use an 8. If you use the 8, I would use a 10. Again, this ain't the prettiest. I was trying to do it one-handed and it's not attached, but hopefully you guys get the idea. But this is the Products Mid Flex, Straight Flex, Ammo Flex, Perfect 90, and Sure Corner. And this is again what they look like. The insides have those rigid inside, and that's for your off angles if you're gonna square them off. Okay guys, thanks.